ladies and gentlemen. Hi, how you doing today? Today we want to talk about what's possibly causing your problems to sleep. And what you will learn today will solve about 95% of all sleep issues. And the reason why we're talking about this is many people have excuses about sleep. Some people say because of the temperature in my room or around me, I can't sleep. Well, polar bears are ones that can sleep quite well in cold weather. So I don't know about that. And dogs and cats, even though they're supposed to be hated enemies, when it comes to sleeps, dogs and cats can sleep together real well. But when it comes to husband and wife, well, these are people supposed to be in love. But when it comes to time to sleep, that's when sometimes you have the biggest warfare. Even rodents who don't work, eat well, they have no problems with sleep. And of course, we know that babies who are born into this world, they have no problems with sleep either. So today's lecture is called Rockabye Baby. We want to find out why they can sleep, but why I can't sleep. The first question that we need to answer about people having insomnia problems, even if you don't want to admit it, is simply this. If so many people have a good night's sleep, then why do so many people need a big cup of coffee to wake them up in the morning? What you need to understand about problems with coffee and people falling asleep in the morning is insomnia is actually the sixth leading cause of death. Sixth leading cause of death in the United States because of accidents of people falling asleep at the wheel. This happens to drivers. But what if your pilot on your 3-hour flight fell asleep at the wheel? And some of the most notorious accidents have been for bus drivers who are getting paid to drive. When they fall asleep, also end up in accidents. And sadly enough to say, though I'm part of the medical professional community, some of the people with the worst sleep problems, you ready for it? Doctors who are trying to tell us how to sleep, engineers, lawyers, scientists, and pastors. So we want to answer this question, why can't we sleep, but how to solve our sleep problem. The first thing we need to understand is insomnia is more a behavioral disease than it is a metabolic disease. Reason why I bring this up, this is why so many people, when they try to fix their insomnia, the first thing they do is they try to look for a pill because they think the problem has to do something with my metabolism. Do I need melatonin? Do I need Benadryl? Do I need Dramamine? Should I take this supplement that my granny used to take, or should I drink this potion? That getting advice from non-professionals and thinking sleep is a metabolism issue is what leads us to not get valuable sleep, because we need to fix the behaviors towards sleep and not necessarily the metabolism towards sleep. In 2005, speaking about pills, I want you to look at the statistics from 2005 to 2021 regarding sleep medications, but also what those sleep medications do and what they don't do. So in 2005, 43 million prescriptions were written for sleep medications. $345 million was not spent on buying beds, was not spent on buying pillows. But $345 million was spent by the pharmaceutical companies to advertise, guess what? Sleep medications. And the top 5 sleep medications prescribed were the following: Ambien, Lunesta, Ativan, Xanax, and Valium. Now here's the bombshell. You're sitting down, you're nice and calm, you're watching your stock profile. From 2005 to 2021, each of those sleep medications earned a profit of $2.7 billion every year for Americans that use these sleep medications. Let's find out some truth about these sleep medications. If you are on a sleep medication, and by the way, this is how you kind of gauge the depth of the behavior problem that you have with sleep. The stronger sleep medication you need, the stronger it is that there is a behavioral component affecting your sleep. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But sleep medications, if you take them on average, and this doesn't actually matter which level of sleep medication, decrease the amount of time you fall asleep by 15 minutes. So if you wanted to get to bed by 8:15 and you took the sleep medication, it helps you to fall asleep by 8 o'clock. Decrease the amount of time that you want to fall asleep by 15 minutes. But when the medication starts working, it only helps you to sleep 30 minutes longer than when you would typically wake up. So let's put all this together to find out what the use of sleep medications is actually kind of doing, kind of helping for your insomnia issue. 43 million Americans showed us in 2005 that they were paying $7,000 a night for 45 minutes more of sleep. Then they woke up in the morning and paid Starbucks nationwide $241 million to wake them up. Now, don't trust what I'm saying. You take a casual drive around the city that you live, you'll notice that the mom and pop store is replaced by Starbucks. The restaurant that used to be on the corner is now Starbucks coming. Starbucks is making a lot of money off of people's sleep problems. So I don't think if we took this to a trial of the universe, are we getting what's worth to improve our quality of sleep using these sleep medications? You decide, but I keep saying it's a behavioral issue, not a metabolic issue. So you came here not to just hear statistics, not to just hear facts, not to hear somebody telling you that you can't sleep. You want to know, where should you begin to correct your sleep problem? Well, some people think that let's try a pill. As I mentioned to you, insomnia is a behavioral problem. It's not a metabolic problem. Here's why you need to understand that. When you start taking pills to fix your metabolism, but not the behavior, your metabolism now needs the pill to keep functioning. So what happens to most people who take a pill to try to fix their insomnia, they now become addicted to the pill because that's a metabolic issue, not a behavioral issue. Well, some people say, well, I don't take a pill, but I just need a glass of wine at night to help me fall asleep because all of the studies say a little wine for the stomach, Here's the problem with those studies. Number one, those studies were performed on rich people. Let me throw in a little bit of ethnic understanding and etymology here. Rich people drink wine. Poor people drink 40 ounces. Rich people have great access to health care. Poor people don't. So here was what the study actually found. That the rich people who are drinking wine were taking it with the sleep medication because they're worried about their riches and kind of having a good night's sleep. But the poor people who are drinking, they still weren't sleeping at all. So here's the bottom line about wine. If you start drinking at night, it's more concentrated alcohol. It doesn't help with your sleep issues. It's more an indication of your social economic status. And I think if any of us had a little bit more money, that would help most of us to sleep a little bit better at night. So wine is not a good option for trying to get more sleep because not only is it damaging our metabolism, but the studies were flawed. And actually, you don't hear people talk about taking a little wine to go to sleep. That's actually called alcoholism. What about the newest thing about marijuana can fix it? There's so many people now that say, well, I had psoriasis. I had heart condition and I couldn't sleep. When I smoked a little weed, not only did I sleep, I had wonderful dreams. Here's the problem with marijuana. Any smoke coming into your body is once again affecting a metabolic condition, and it actually speaks more to a behavioral condition where it's a drug trying to help you sleep without fixing your behavior. And by the way, little secret, if you get caught with that weed in your car during the day, you will be sleeping that night in jail, and that's not a place where you want to get some sleep. And then some people say, why not hypnosis to help me with my sleep problem? The problem with hypnosis is you're asking someone else to take control of your mind. And I don't even need to get into that. But if you think people can be influenced by advertising, commercials, what they see on TV, The problem with hypnosis is it goes into the deeper structures of mind and you get sleep and everything else that comes in with hypnosis, which is somebody else controlling your mind. But if we want to start with sleep, remember I said it's a behavioral problem, not a metabolic problem. So here is how we start to fix your sleep problem. There's an old saying, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. The first thing you need to understand about fixing your sleep problem is sleep is a bicycle where two cycles are passing from one to the other. It's called the sleep-wake cycle. So the reason why I say the first thing you need to do to fix your sleep problem is to pick a time to go to bed, pick a time to wake up, is because your sleep cycle is like a bicycle where the time you go to sleep, hands off the baton to the time you wake up. And the time you wake up, then hands off the baton to the time you go to sleep. So pick a time to go to sleep and pick a time to go to bed. But here's what most people do that messes up their sleep cycle. They go to bed at a different time and wake up at a different time. Some people say, I sleep in on the weekend. I have to pull an all-nighter. Well, what you are effectively doing is messing up your sleep bicycle and creating what we see in the picture. If two people are riding a bicycle, they have to be in sync, one foot passing on the momentum to another. But if you have a kid on a tricycle, he's trying to catch up to adult on a bicycle. So when you don't have a time to go to sleep and a time to wake up, you are messing up your sleep cycle. I know this sounds simple. I know it sounds crazy, but a simple thing as sleep should not be this complicated. First thing you need to do, pick an hour to go to sleep, pick an hour to wake up. The second thing you need to do is look at a baby. There's Mayo Clinic, and then there's Mama Clinic. The difference between Mayo Clinic and Mama Clinic is when Mayo conducts sleep studies, these are on adults. But at one time, all of us were babies. Why do we look at babies? Because after you pick a time to go to bed, a time to wake up, the next important thing about sleep is your position. The best positions to maximize your oxygenation is sleeping on your side, sleeping on your back, but don't sleep on your belly, whether it's a six-pack or Magic Mountain. The reason is you're cutting off your oxygenation when you sleep on your belly. And I learned a little secret that some spouses do to the other spouse that snores. They either put a pillow in their face or they roll them over on their six-pack or their Magic Mountain. What you're doing is you're messing up a person's oxygenation. So let's summarize this again. We're fixing your sleep. Number one, pick a time to go to bed. Pick a time to wake up. Number two, only sleep on your side or on your back, but never sleep on your belly. By the way, here's an exercise secret. Sleeping on your belly doesn't flatten it. Just keep that in mind. And the third thing is that sleep is sacred. When you pick that time to go to bed, do not have any fights half an hour before you go to sleep. You know, the worst thing that you can do is watch TV that's controversial half an hour before you go to bed, or fight half an hour before you go to bed. So let me give you what you should do, because you want to get it out your system, but you gotta sleep. When that person wants to fight with you, there's what you tell them. Look, I'm about to go to bed in half an hour. Let's continue this tomorrow when I'm nice and awake and we can settle this issue. Turn off the cell phone. Do not watch controversial TV shows, and do not fight with anyone half an hour before you go to sleep. Here's two reasons why. When you fight before you go to sleep, your eyes are closed, but your mind is working. You're formulating your plan of how you're going to beat that person the next day. So let's go through the first three things you need to do to fix your sleep problem. Number one, pick a time to go to bed. Pick a time to wake up. Number 2, pick your sleep position, which is on your side, on your back, but never your belly. And number 3, half an hour before you want to go to sleep. No fights, no food, no foolishness. And now you're ready to sleep.